Welcoming back in Connor Pay. And Connor, obviously you have experience playing against SMU because you played them in that New Mexico Bowl 2 off seasons ago. So it'd be 2022. So I want to start there before we look at this week's game. What are your memories of facing off against the Mustangs down there in Albuquerque?
They were good, man. They were a stout team. I know our offensive game plan was quite a bit different than what we had been running the entire season, since Jaron wasn't playing and we had Soljay in there. So we kind of took the 3 bowl game weeks and installed a new offense. So that was kind of interesting. And thankfully we were able to execute it just well enough to sneak out a little victory there, thanks to J. Rob making a play there on that 2-point conversion. But no, I can't remember his name, but number 40, they had an interior D lineman. He's in the NFL now, who's a really good player.
Okay.
And I remember just him being really solid. We beat him up a little bit and got after him pretty good. But I remember thinking after the game, like, that's a dude right there who's gonna have a chance to play in the league. And so I remember them just being just a stout, tough group. I don't remember them doing anything too crazy. Their defense isn't crazy. They don't do all this weird stuff. And after watching the film, they still don't do that. They're just really based, really disciplined. And they're a good group on defense.
Now, one other question about that bowl game. You mentioned Jacob Robinson, obviously having that game-saving tackle there at the goal line practically. Ben Bywater had that pick 6 in that game.
Yeah.
Some crazy circumstances around that game. And you talk about essentially Soljay. You guys went with essentially, we're going to run the ball some more in this game and just do enough to win. Funny enough, that's the last bowl game this program has played in. So what's your overall feeling? Do you want to get back to that, obviously this season, but what's your overall feeling looking back on that and the experience you had?
I mean, obviously didn't expect that to be, the last bowl game I would have played in up until this point at the time.
Yeah.
But, I think obviously that's the goal, is to get back to another bowl game this year and to put a winning season together. And, I think, but I don't think a lot of the guys are focused on that. I think they're focused on today. And, I think I think that kind of comes with the maturity of going through last year. It's like we looked out there, and we're thinking, oh man, we keep losing these games, we're not gonna have a chance to do this. And we kept focusing on the results and not as much on the process, of what gets you good results. And so I think it's we're focused on today, and then eventually the bowl games, the winning, all that stuff is gonna come from our preparation.
You talk about obviously focusing on the here and now, and you referenced back to last season. Do you feel like at points last year you guys kind of lost focus of focusing on the here and now, and maybe you were looking a little beyond the mark, as it were?
No doubt. And I think that that falls on the shoulders of the leaders, of us as captains and others, and allowing that to kind of seep through the team. And now I think having gone through that, we're able to see the signs a little better and nip that in the bud and keep the team's mentality kind of on the right track and going.
Now you guys head to SMU this Friday, and obviously a big game down there at Gerald R. Ford Stadium, and I think it's Highland Park is technically the city that's located in. But you talk about them essentially running a very kind of base level defense, but obviously relying on their athleticism. Give me a better sense of that. Is it a 4-3 scheme? What scheme wise? What do you see from them?
Yeah, a lot of 4-3, a lot of lining up in base 4 down and saying, like, look, we're going to be more disciplined than you. We're going to hold our gaps better than you. And it's not. I mean, obviously they do pressure and they do move a little bit, but it's not their forte. Okay. I think it's just that they want to be really stout and really consistent on defense. And that's the style they run. And so in some ways it's good because you know what you're going to get. But in other ways it's like, okay, this is what they do. They're very good at it. This is all they do. They're really good at it. And so, it's a double-edged sword, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Now you talk about the fact that they essentially they are challenging you guys on that front. What do you see from their defensive front in particular? Because those are the guys you're going to be dealing with mostly. Because when it's a 4-man alignment, you got guys either side of you, obviously opposite of you, opposite of your guards.
Yeah.
But how does that change for you? Because last week was a lot of 3-man front, a lot of 3-3-5 look. How does that change for you as a center?
I think, for me, 4 down, it's usually a little easier for me to get 2 steps in the ground. I'm in a combo a lot of the time. And so, but they're big and they're strong on the interior of the defensive line, and their ends are really good players. And so, like, a lot of transfers in this group. So a lot of guys who coming in from other schools. Um, and so, but they return their whole linebacker core, and both of their safeties. And so, I think they're stout in the middle, and they want to take you up and hold space to kind of free up their DNs to do a lot of things, because they're good athletes and they're good players.
Can your experience having played them almost 2 years ago now help you guys at all in this game? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it was a couple years ago now, so a lot of the finite details of that game plan and things I've forgotten, but I think just having experienced how tough they are and how they're going to keep coming on defense, more a whole scheme of things versus the nitty gritty of the X's and O's. I think will definitely help, so I can let the guys know, like, how this defense, doesn't matter if we jump on them, get up a few scores, they're gonna come back every drive, trying to hit you in the mouth and force you to play physical, which is a very fun game for an offensive lineman. So we're looking forward to that.
Now, Jake Retzloff is QB1 in Provo. That obviously became public when the game started last week. How are you feeling with him behind center and obviously working with you for a second straight season now?
Good. I mean, this is game 5 for us together. So, obviously in the baby stages of us working together, but I feel really good. And obviously he balled out. He played very well. And, you can just tell. And I mean, obviously we didn't talk a bunch about it because we didn't want to, and we were asked not to, to talk too much about the details of the QB battle, just for the sake of both of those guys, so they could kind of go through training camp together. And I'll tell you what, it was very close, and they pushed each other. And so I wasn't lying to you guys when I said it was 50-50 up until really the very end, because it was. But I think Jake having that whole other off season, to kind of how he's in so much more command of the offense now than he was last year. And so just understanding the system better, his reads, his progressions, the individual players better, all that stuff. And he was able to put that on display this week, which was fun to watch, fun to be a part of.
Final thing on SMU, obviously first road game of the season. Now they are a Power 4 debutante themselves. You guys went through this a year ago. This will be their first ever home game against a Power 4 opponent. What are your expectations for the road trip overall, the crowd, etc.?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've heard SMU is a fun place to play, and they're good at playing at home, and they I think I'm trying to remember, because I don't think obviously I've never played there before. Trying to think if there's anyone on our team currently who has, just at other schools. I can't remember, but it's a good environment, good crowd from what we've heard. They're loud. They love to get into it, and it's obviously it's in Dallas, so it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid, and I think I'm really looking forward to it. I think I really enjoy playing on the road. I think it's a really fun experience. Just the hostility, everybody there hates you. They want you to suck, all that stuff. Like, I think that kind of just adds to the fire. It's kind of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it.